You want to talk about Assassin's Creed?
The main one.
Is that the
I,
thing?
I think that's the actual story of the three.
Uh,
So okay, so they've basically confirmed now that they're gonna do this yearly. Like they're making absolutely no bones about whether or not this is going to be an annual game. They're
Mhm.
like, "Yep, we're going to put them out every
Well,
year."
hell, they've set up a bunch of studios already for that very purpose. I mean, they're not going to let that go to waste.
Right? Yeah. What? Seven studios.
7 studios.
That's insane.
I mean, yeah, the thing this makes me think of is like Tomb Raider. Like that's the franchise that first had like 5 sequels year after year, and because they sold well, and when they stopped selling well, they were like, let's not do one for a couple of years, and then they made that horrible, whatever that PlayStation 2 game was called. So I mean, they're not saying anything we don't already know. They're just being kind of upfront about it, and I kind of respect that, the honesty of like, hey, we're gonna keep making it because you're buying it. But I mean, they're not saying anything we don't already know. I guess is what I'm saying.
The way they laid it out, he was like, gamers will tell us when they don't want more Assassin's Creed, and right now, more sales are every release is the new biggest release for the series, and that's true for a lot of
Yeah, I
series.
mean, if the audience is still expanding,
Yet, and I get that, but where I come from for this is you can still dilute your brand,
yeah,
and that's really the trade-off is the long-term viability of the franchise.
yeah, I don't, it's not like Call of Duty where I think there's that constant like multiplayer pressure to
Mm-hmm.
always be playing the latest thing and the new thing because that's where the audience is. It seems to me more like the amount of effort and investment and that it's really still a single player focused experience. And don't get me wrong, I just like the idea that something's coming out every year that I know, oh my god, I'm gonna have a single player game to play this year. But yeah, there is that risk that the audience over time will just get tired of seeing it every year.
Yeah, it's kind of like TV. Like there's some TV series like X Files that they go on, and people like. I mean, I checked out Assassin's Creed a long time ago, so the idea that they're gonna have 5 more doesn't really appeal to me. But there's some people that will just always be there. Like they love the series and they'll continue, being invested in it as long as the quality doesn't drop drastically.
I mean, I'm not really a fan of Assassin's Creed, so maybe it's bad for me to say this, but it's almost like you can only take that idea so far, and I would say that most ideas you can only get so many games out of it. And no matter how good the game is, after a while, it's just like I need a break. I need to rest between this before I'm back into it.
Yeah, and I guess I just don't know enough about where they might take the series now and the post Desmond
They
Assassin's
said
Creed.
they had a roadmap,
Yeah, I'm sure
so
they have a
they
plan.
know what they're doing. It's just from our perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine uh, them coming up with something that's compelling enough that it feels fresh year on year. Uh, Pirates are an interesting step. I'm okay with pirates. Again,
Yeah.
pirates.
There's something depressing about them admitting it. It's kind of like, we're all a bunch of pigs and they're ringing the bell. And this is like the trough of Assassin's Creed. It's like, here, get your slop, you filthy animals. It's like, all right, thank you. Thanks for this game. I'm going to go back into my cave.
So, what do you think of April Fools?
Of our site or the
Just in
internet?
general.
Yeah, general.
It wasn't the best April Fools. I think we've had better. I think Blizzard has done better, definitely. I mean, I think part of April Fools at this point isn't stuff that you fall for. It's more of just like, oh, that's a funny thing that they took their time to do.
And thank God for that.
I know, right?
Like, I'm absolutely sick of. I mean, just the 3 days before April Fool's Day rolls around, you can't trust anything.
You're afraid.
Yeah, you're terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate writing during that period. And on the day, I just take the day off. Like I just disappear into a little hole. I go check out some of the other jokes. I thought YouTube's was particularly clever. They decided that they were going to cut off submissions for the contest because YouTube has always been a contest, and they're going to spend the next 10 years reviewing and bring the site back up with the winner, and that's all YouTube's going to be. It's just the best video ever made. Really liked that. I thought that was cute.
I mean, and that's where I kind of draw the line is it's neat to see people come up with these crazy, wacky ideas. Hey, look at me, I'm creative. But the one I really liked for gaming was ArenaNet's Guild Wars 2. I think it was Super Box Adventure was their thing. So they had this commercial. It was basically a 90s game advertisement, really well done, cheesy. But then on top of that, you could actually play. It was a new update for Guild Wars 2, and it was like this pixelated world that you actually play, and that's cool. I just don't like it when we see this thing and we're like, I would pay money for that, and it's just fake. That's
a
kind of
perfect.
where I'm at with April Fool's Day.
Yeah, the perfect example is that Human Defiance, the Deus Ex game.
Yeah.
Where it's like I didn't really understand where they were coming from with that. Like it looked like a game people would be excited for, and they're just like, we're not making this crap. Too bad.
Well, and they dropped it on their Facebook page the day before.
Yeah.
Which was really frustrating.
Don't do
That's
that.
the worst. Like, if you're going to do an April Fool's joke, please don't lead up. Don't set us up. I mean, now, to their credit, there were a number of organizations out there that had, if they were, planning something for it, they would shoot an email the day before and say, hey, this is our April Fool's prank. You want to help us get it out there. And from an outlet's perspective, bless you. Bless you. Because that is so much more comforting at the end of the day, is to know going in that the thing you're writing about is a joke.
Well, the people I tend to respect the most, though, are like companies that kind of have this like meta April Fool's thing going on where they actually release a legitimate game, or they announced it on April Fool's just to mess with everybody, like that Far Cry Blood Dragon. Like, I think we feel pretty confident that that's an actual thing at this point. Mm-hmm. If they decide April Fool's would be the day they'd have a teaser and a website for it.
Oh, I was complaining about that with some other people I know, some PR people in the business,
right.
Talking, about who, like, and maybe I think it's just like a Western culture thing to a certain extent, because they're like, I couldn't explain to this audience why it was a bad idea to release info on this day. So it's unfortunate.
Well, Poker Night 2 was announced, I think, on April Fool's Day.
Yeah,
that's a real game.
They had a teaser site going for a week prior, and announced on April Fool's Day. And why? Telltale's American. They have to know. Like, they can't not know. When the images started leaking, I sent an email to their PR guy. I was just tell me it's not a joke. Tell me whether or not you're kidding. Please.
And that was one where you didn't even know, based on the characters in the game. It seemed so random. We got Ash and...
who does not seem to be voiced by Bruce Campbell.
No, people were pissed.
That's unfortunate.
He's got important straight-to-DVD movies to do, He's got a career to live up to. I think there's something interesting about the idea, I didn't read the full article, but like the idea that, eventually we're going to have phones that are our consoles. So, what's going to happen to Sony and Microsoft?
That just stands to reason. I mean, I think about the comparison my father always makes is when he used to be an accountant. And when he started working, a calculator was this, it was a typewriter-sized machine that, did these calculations. And now a calculator is a tiny aspect of a device that does thousands of things. It only stands to reason that that's the course we're going to take, that we're going to have these small form factor items that are extremely powerful. I mean, just the Ouya. That's not a bad little bit of kit in a tiny little package. Mm-hmm. That just makes sense.
No, totally. And the only thing I think about is battery life. I don't want to.
That's the thing.
Sure.
Do you even want to use all that power? And the other thing is, our games. I'm thinking games I played, and I guess Infinity Blade would be the most graphically superior mobile game I played. And it's like, that doesn't really make a difference. I still need it to be a fun game.
I want ridiculous fishing in 1080p. I want it in 1080p on a 6-inch screen. Make it happen.
Because, you got to cram it in.
Well, why stop there? You should go all the way to 4K. You want 4K on your 10-inch screen.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of practical challenges to the idea that these machines are going to be, nearly on the power level of an Xbox 360 or a PS3. If you're going to go plug it into a wall and then hook it up to a TV and whatever, feel free, I guess.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can make hardware that does that, but I don't know. Doesn't seem, it's not something I'm excited about.
No. And that would be something NVIDIA would say, is that, yay, graphics are going to be better on the platforms we support.
I mean, has Epic said anything about Unreal Engine 4 coming to mobile?
They probably have, I just can't remember. I know it's not coming to Wii U from their end, anyway. They might have.
So Wii U is someplace below an iPhone.
That's gotta be coming up. Maybe not initially, but I think mobile would be able to support that.
That'd be a potent engine to have on a mobile platform, really.
Yeah.
But everyone just still makes shit in Unity because it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been surprised by how many games are like being announced or being developed on Unity, like the Wasteland 2 and Torment. Because I was looking at the list of games developed on Unity, and there's like barely any recognizable games that have been developed on it. So which makes me kind of think it's like like the ghetto developer tool set or something.
I think it's the tool set for people who it's like quick and easy for prototyping, and it's the kind of thing that either of us could mess around with and maybe get a playable game out of it.
It's kind of like the garage band of game development.